In the heart of a vast green forest, sunlight filtered through the tall trees every morning, painting the leaves in gold. The air was filled with the fragrance of wild flowers, and the gentle hum of bees made the forest come alive with melody. On the tallest oak tree stood a magnificent hive, home to a buzzing kingdom of bees who worked together in perfect harmony. Each bee had its role, its duty, and its dream. Among them was Bella, a clever, ambitious, and hard-working bee. From dawn to dusk, she gathered nectar, built honeycombs, and cared deeply for her colony. Everyone respected her effort, but inside Bella's heart, something small and dark had started to grow: jealousy. There was another bee named Ruby, fast, graceful, and admired by all. Ruby always brought back the sweetest nectar, and her honey was golden and pure. The queen often praised her in front of the entire hive. And every time that happened, Bella's heart sank a little deeper. "Work hard too," Bella would whisper to herself. "So why does no one notice me? Why is she always the favorite?" One night, as the moonlight touched the hive, Bella lay awake, her mind restless. Her heart whispered envy, but her pride whispered louder. "Tomorrow, I'll show them all. I'll be better than Ruby, even if I have to cheat a little." Before the first ray of sun touched the flowers, Bella rushed out of the hive. She darted from one blossom to another, sipping nectar faster than ever before. Her tiny wings buzzed with excitement. "I'll fill the hive with honey before Ruby even wakes up." But in her rush, Bella ignored the warning of the older bees that unripe flowers carry bitter nectar. She filled her basket, proud and breathless, and returned before anyone else. Later that day, when the queen tasted the honey, she frowned. The sweetness was gone. The honey was bitter, sharp enough to sting the tongue. The queen's voice thundered through the hive: "Who brought this poison to my kingdom?" Bella froze, her wings trembled. She wanted to speak, to tell the truth, but shame sealed her lips. No one suspected her, but deep down, she knew. She had poisoned her own pride. Still, her jealousy didn't fade out. Instead, it burned stronger. Next time, she thought, "I'll make sure Ruby fails, and the queen will see who truly deserves praise." A few days later, Bella saw Ruby flying toward a beautiful, giant flower glowing in the sunlight, the kind of bloom that could make the purest honey. Envy flared inside Bella. "If I destroy that flower before she gets there," she thought, "she'll have nothing to bring back." And so Bella flew to the flower before Ruby arrived, began tearing its petals apart in anger. But as soon as she touched the final petal, snap, the flower suddenly opened wide, revealing a huge spider hidden inside. Before Bella could escape, the spider leapt, spinning a sticky web that wrapped around her wings. She screamed and struggled as the threads tightened. Her tiny body trembled, her heart pounding in fear. The spider struck, and Bella barely escaped with her life, wounded and weak. She fell to the ground, gasping for air. For days she couldn't fly. Her wings ached, and her body felt heavier than ever before. While Bella lay in pain, Ruby continued to work not just for herself, but also for Bella. She visited Bella's flowers, filled her baskets, and made sure Bella's name was never forgotten in the hive. When the queen praised Ruby again, this time for helping a fallen friend, the hive buzzed with admiration. Bella watched from afar, her heart breaking, not from jealousy anymore, but from regret. She realized the truth she had ignored all along, that Ruby's light had never dimmed her own. It was her jealousy that had made her blind, bitter, and small. When Bella finally recovered, she gathered her courage and flew to Ruby. Her voice shook as she said, "Ruby, I was wrong. I let envy cloud my heart. I wanted to see you fail, and in doing so, I failed myself. I'm sorry." Ruby looked at her for a moment, then smiled gently. "Bella," she said softly, "a hive is sweet only when all of us work together. No bee shines alone. Your work matters just as much as mine." Those words sank deep into Bella's heart like sunlight melting frost. For the first time in a long while, she felt light, free from the weight of comparison. From that day, Bella worked not for attention, but for pride in her craft. Her wings carried purpose, not jealousy. And slowly, her honey became sweeter than ever before, not because of the flowers she chose, but because of the heart she poured into her work. One morning the queen called out, "Bella, your honey? It's perfect, golden, pure, and full of life. The hive cheered for her, and Bella smiled not out of pride, but out of gratitude. She finally understood that success isn't about being better than others. It's about being better than the version of yourself that once doubted your worth. As Bella watched Ruby working beside her, she felt only admiration and peace. She realized that true strength comes not from rivalry, but from unity. In time, Bella became known not just for her honey, but for her kindness. Young bees came to her for advice, and she always told them, "Jealousy is like poison. It doesn't hurt the one you envy, it destroys you from within. When you envy someone's light," she would say, "you dim your own. But when you celebrate others, your light grows brighter too." The forest thrived that year, the trees greener, the flowers brighter, and the honey sweeter than ever. 'Cause in that hive, the bees had learned the power of working together, not against each other. Bella often sat by the edge of the hive at sunset, watching the golden sky fade into pink. The wind carried the scent of flowers and the laughter of her friends. She smiled, knowing she had found something greater than praise, peace. Her journey had started with envy, but it ended with empowerment. She had learned that true success doesn't come from outshining others. It comes from shining honestly, from within. And so, the hive continued to buzz, full of bees, dreams, and lessons. But among them, Bella's story became a whisper carried from one generation to the next, a story of jealousy, forgiveness, and growth. Because in the end, life, just like honey, becomes sweeter only when our hearts are pure.